7 games in 7 days? No problem. Said absolutely no one ever. Jamango just released a huge new update in which they have changed a bunch of things, and so they reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do another video with them. And that is how I dug a massive hole for myself and decided I was going to make 7 games in 7 days. What is wrong with me? In case you don't know, Jamango is a super easy to use game engine that runs entirely in the browser and allows you to make games without any programming and instead through visual scripting. Basically, it's like Scratch if it was 3D and good. Can I say that? Is that too much? Now, the last time I used it, I made a Counter-Strike clone, which was a lot of fun, but now that I've completely overhauled the scripting side of things, and now that multiplayer is actually a thing, I'm back in action. So thank you to Jamango for sponsoring this video. There are 7 days, and I only have so many hours in a day because I also have my freelance job. So I figured it would be smart to keep the scope of the games small. Actually small, and not several months of dev time small, like so many of my other projects. So on day 1 I wanted to explore what had changed in Jamango by recreating red light green light from Squid Game. Simple game concept, shouldn't take too long, right? And yes, that would have been absolutely correct, weren't it for the fact that I had to relearn a lot of things because of all the changes. So many things had changed, especially how the wrench worked, which is used to do the visual scripting that you can use on literally any block in the world, and so it took me some time to unlearn my previous habits and get used to the new ones. But hey, look, it's the area from the game, from Squid Game. There's a bunch of sand, there are walls, there's even that special line where you're safe, and a little house, and the door they walk through, all happy that they're going to make money before realizing they might die. Oh, and a tree. I didn't make that one myself. Also, this here is the doll, which I didn't need to tell you because she's clearly indistinguishable from the original. This is that office meme. So with only like an hour spent in the game, maybe a little more, the visuals of the game were done. But the scripting side of things were a little bit of a different story though. See, Jamango doesn't really like loops. Recursive ones that is. The ones that aren't infinite but feel like they could be. Basically, like in the show, I wanted to have 2 phases. Phase 1 where you could just walk or run or cry, and phase 2 where if you move you'd get shot. Is that okay to say? Is that too much? So in the logic, I just make sure that it would constantly check if you could move or not. If yes, continue with the loop. If no, for as long as that was the case, if your velocity changed, it would kill you. Now, writing this script and recording the video, I realized why that might have caused some problems. But when actually playing the game, regular walking was not a problem whatsoever. Actually, even just standing still when you weren't allowed to walk wasn't a problem either. But as soon as I moved, during phase 2, where you're not allowed to move, Jamango would be like... It clearly did not like my loops. It would struggle to process things because it probably tried to do a gazillion things at once. And honestly, I don't blame it. It is most likely my fault, because loops can be complicated. I probably just didn't do it right. Anyway, I then did the coolest thing ever and made 2 versions of the doll's head, and whenever you couldn't move, it would actually turn around. It really adds to the experience, and it just looks so incredibly sick. So yes, while the game doesn't always work perfectly, you'll soon see why that was okay. Alright, it is day 2. It's a Monday, and I have a lot to do, but I figured, you know what? I'm not gonna stop on day 2. I'm gonna make that second game, and the second game is Slender Man. I'm making Slender Man. I live streamed the development of the Slender Man game, and it was so much fun to work on this with other people watching. I decided to go with a snowy biome with a dark sky and some fog to give it a proper horror feel, and used a fantastic pencil tool, which I swear is my favorite tool in this entire engine. I was able to make a decent map in a really short amount of time. To fit the Slender Man vibes, I made some landmarks like this tunnel and this bridge and this car. No, that is not a pig. Please stop saying it looks like a pig. But for anyone that wasn't on the internet in 2012 for some reason, I'm sorry for your loss, but the point of the original game was to collect 8 special pages without getting caught by my boy Slendy here. What's cool is that in Jamango you can make custom blocks, which I decided I would use to make my pages. And let me tell you, I started by actually making the original pages, but then Twitch chat got silly. Very, very silly. How about this? How do you like this? Why do I look like Jabba the Hutt? Now this is the closest I could get to adding Slender Man to Jamango. And to get him to act all scary, I spawned him far from the player's spawn point, from which point he would walk towards you, and once I made sure there weren't 8 of them rushing towards you, I made it so he'd get a tiny bit faster anytime you found another page. It's not really fast. Oh my goodness! Surprisingly, this was actually a somewhat scary experience. His footsteps, the atmosphere, and he's stuck behind a tree, isn't he? I gotta admit, I am not particularly proud of this day. I had even less time than usual, so I had to improvise. And, well, I figured I'd make a Vampire Survivors clone. Cause why not? Surprisingly, it works great. Random enemies spawn somewhere around you, there are always a maximum of 15 enemies in the world with you, and you can pick up an upgrade once every 30 seconds, which either heals you, makes you faster, or gives you a weapon. But it doesn't tell you which one you picked up, cause that's a surprise. Yeah, not my prettiest creation, but it works, and I learned some new things about UI, so yay me. Good morning, it is day 4, I am very tired, and do I regret this? Possibly. I'm not sure how old all of you are, but are you old enough to know what Gmod is? I sure hope you are. Maybe you played it back in the day, or maybe you still do if you're British, but Gmod is all about making silly creations, playing silly games, actually just silliness in general. One of my favorite game modes to play with my friends was Death Run, where usually one person would be in some kind of control room, and while everyone else would try to run to the end of the level, this one person would attempt to kill them. It is called Death Run after all. I'm not sure what else you expected. Making this required me to use pretty much everything I'd learned so far, which included the pencil tool to make my world quickly, including some awesome looking custom lava with a texture I definitely did not steal online, but also moving blocks on command and making sure there's some kind of delay to keep it somewhat fair. Also, this NPC would not listen to me. He just kept shooting me. Look, I get it. You got free will and all that, but please focus on the right people. Let's go. Okay, Death Run is a matter
basically,
yeah, it's all about the mentality. You gotta make me think.
You are a piece of.
Oh crap! I couldn't. Oh.
Whoa! What the? Oh, you know what is? Fuck off! I hate you. You represent everything that is wrong with the world.
Let's go!
No, let's go!
It is day 5. It is much gloomier outside than it has been the days before, and that's okay. I am very excited about this day. There's only 2 more days after this one, and today, while it sounds stupid, it sounds simple, I'm gonna be making a Flappy Bird, if I can. I really don't know yet. Making Flappy Bird is, in my opinion, the best thing you could do when learning a new engine. You learn about basic input, physics, collisions, score systems, and much more. And that is exactly why I was excited about making this, because while it wasn't the last day yet, it would challenge me to try and take everything I'd learned, including everything from the previous days, and trying to make this game. The crazy thing is, this engine is not made for games like Flappy Bird. Jamango is all about making first-person and third-person games, and it's really good at that. So trying to make something like Flappy Bird could properly challenge it. So here's what I did. I made a few new blocks. There's the bird, of course. At the right angle you cannot even see that he's a block, but there's also the pipes, for which I made 3 separate blocks, looking up, looking down, and a middle piece. And then in the visual scripting I made a proper loop this time, sort of. I made sure that once every second it could move the bird down to give the feeling of gravity. I could make it faster, but I really didn't want to push my luck. But this is exactly why those previous days are super valuable. I would have absolutely messed up this loop too if I didn't already know how not to do it. So if I want to, I could now easily fix the Squid Game. But now when you interact with this block here using a simple onInteract node, I just made the bird go up 1 block again. And meanwhile, the pipes I had just placed at completely random heights would move to the left, and when they reach a certain point they would go back to the start. Nice. Wait, what? Now with some sounds from the original game being played using the sound nodes, this is actual Flappy Bird. Though collision between different block groups isn't exactly a thing unfortunately, but I'm sure it will be at some point. For now I've just worked around it by not doing anything. The bird just disappears when it gets hit. So I guess that's good? Thanks bird. Made my life a lot easier. But yeah, making Flappy Bird was a lot of fun. Does anyone remember Only Up? Yeah, so good luck with this one. Making it was fun, especially because I could mess around with the copy-paste tool a bunch, as well as setting the player velocity to create a launchpad or annoying side launchers. But man, playing this game was rough. I had to cheat not to lose my mind. Rage games are mean. No, that is so funny.
Why are you flapping around like a fish?
Oh man. Alright, it is day 7. We did it. A whole week, well, I haven't actually done it yet, but a whole week of making games in Jamango every single day. It's wild. So, you know, let's finish this with a bang, and hopefully not a literal one, because that would suck, but let's have some fun and spend this last day making Mario Kart. This is a mistake, isn't it? Of course, I cannot make a perfect Mario Kart clone because all the sick abilities cannot be translated to Jamango nodes. Most of them can't. But what I can do is make a racing game where if you step on a certain block, you get an item, which is honestly just something positive or negative happening to you. To start off, I went ahead and made a simple circuit. Having played way too many hours of the F1 games, I can tell you that this circuit goes hard. Not hard as in fast, probably, but you know what I mean. As far as Mario Kart levels go, it's missing some uniqueness though. By which I of course mean shortcuts, I think. Let's not talk about decoration. I used to think I was pretty good at Mario Kart until I saw all the crazy shortcuts people used. So now I will have a shortcut other people will also have to learn for the first time. I just make it so touching the grass instantly kills you. Could probably be a strategy as well if you want, but there's a good chance you'll regret it. But if you're a real pro, you can do some epic parkour, which you should be great at after the last game, and skip like half the track. If you're faster that way than the normal way that is, but I wouldn't know, I keep dying. Now like I said, I can't do all the crazy stuff from actual Mario Kart, but I used the wrench tool to make it so whenever you collide with one of the special item blocks using the unblock collision start node, you get one of several things. You get double speed for 4 seconds, you get half speed for 4 seconds, you get launched in the air really far, which could be good or bad, you get a gun, or you get a spade. Violence is never the answer, except for in Mario Kart, so at least I got that part of the game right. But let's be honest, what is Mario Kart without any of the iconic characters? So I present to you Giuseppe. This is our Mario Kart at home. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no, I got launched. Oh no, oh no. And you get speed. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, I'm slowed. No. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Okay, last lap. Oh.
Where did you go? You disappeared.
Yeah, I jumped.
Oh, you jumped. Oh, okay, I think you won. I just got slowed. That was a very lucky jump because I just got a spade and I was ready to use it on you.
Oh. Oh, it's actually close this one. And there you go, 7 games of different sizes, different genres, and overall way different skill levels, all in only 7 days. Spending a week with limited time making all kinds of tiny games has taught me so many things about Jamango, especially with all the updates. I now know how to properly use sounds and how to work with collisions as well as some UI, and I'm sure in future updates things will get even crazier. Slender Man was by far my favorite game to make, that was so much fun, and somehow I got pretty close to the atmosphere of the original game. Anyway, huge thank you to Jamango for sponsoring this video. If you want to know more or you'd like to try it out for yourself, go check out the link in the description below. It is super fun and super easy to use, so I can definitely recommend it. Also, a huge thank you to Blake for supporting me on Patreon in the God tier. You will be added to the credits of my game Skies of Avium, as well as get a free Steam key. So I hope you enjoy.